Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is Hollywood Studios' newest attraction that opened its doors to guests on March 4th, 2020. The opening of this attraction marked the completion of the multi-year expansion of Disney's Hollywood Studios with the addition of Toy Story Land that has one roller coaster and one flat ride, Runaway Railway, and of course Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which added Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run and Disney's most technologically advanced attraction ever, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. These attractions and lands gave a much needed facelift to Disney's Hollywood Studios, which in my opinion really has helped push it to be a truly full-day theme park experience. Of course, there are some that would argue that you could spend all day at Disney's Hollywood Studios in the past without these additions, but in my opinion it was more of a 3/4 day park that wasn't worth going in at rope drop and leaving after the nighttime fireworks show. In this spoiler-filled video, we are going to go in-depth with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and talk about what I liked about this attraction and what I disliked. I'd like to put in a disclaimer right here and say that these are my personal opinions. Your opinions may differ from mine, and that is totally okay. Please feel free to share your thoughts and opinions on this attraction down in the comments section below. Also, as I said earlier, this is going to be a spoiler-filled review of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. If you would like to remain spoiler-free, then this is the last opportunity you will have to click off the video, as I'll be discussing specific ride details and surprises, as well as showing on-ride POV footage of the attraction. Once you've ridden it, then please feel free to come back to the video and share your thoughts down below. You have been warned. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is Walt Disney World's second trackless attraction. The first one being Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, Runaway Railway is a much more family-friendly trackless dark ride experience that is suitable for the entire family. There is no height restriction on this ride, so fresh out of the womb Timmy can take his first ride with Mickey and Minnie Mouse. This attraction can be located at the Chinese Theater on the opposite end of Hollywood Boulevard, beyond the turnstiles to Disney's Hollywood Studios. It's most likely going to be the very first thing you see when you enter the park, as the flashing neon lights on the exterior of the building are pretty hard to miss. In this attraction, you step through a movie screen and into the cartoon world of Mickey Mouse shorts. Once inside, you hop on board a train being driven by Goofy as you follow Mickey and Minnie to the park for their perfect picnic. However, along the way in a dark tunnel, Mickey carelessly hits a track switch with his car and separates the guests from the train engine driven by Goofy. Guest vehicles are then separated and the real mayhem follows as both Mickey and Minnie try to get the guests back on track with Goofy while trying not to spoil their perfect picnic plans. Multiple times throughout the attraction you hear Mickey Mouse say, "Nothing can stop us now!" But as I'm sure you can guess, just about anything that could go wrong does go wrong. Guests are thrown into a tornado, escape an erupting volcano, take a dive over a waterfall, escape a dangerous industrial factory, and even get waltzing lessons from Daisy Duck. This attraction seems to have everything you could want from a family-friendly dark ride. Your wild and wacky cartoon adventure comes to an end once you reunite with Goofy's train and ride past the park where Mickey, Minnie, and Pluto are having their long-awaited perfect picnic. As mentioned earlier, you step through a movie screen and you are transported to the cartoon world of Mickey Mouse shorts, and in true Disney fashion, you leave the same way through a movie screen showing the end as you would see if you were watching a Mickey Mouse short on your television at home. Now that we have ridden Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway together, let's go over what I liked about this attraction and disliked. Starting off my list of positives for this attraction is that the ride is absolutely beautiful. This attraction is the future of dark rides, and I honestly cannot wait to see what Disney does with dark ride visuals in the future. The colors all pop and are so vibrant. There aren't many screens in this attraction, and it was very hard to tell what was painted and what was projection mapped onto a wall. The blend of colors and projection mapping really helped create the illusion that you were there with some of these characters. Something that you thought was maybe a stationary object can come to life before your eyes and transform into something completely different. This is definitely one of the highest praises I can give this attraction, is that it is a simply beautiful ride. Next on our list of positives is the animatronics. While these are not the most technologically advanced animatronics we've ever seen at a Disney park, these audio animatronics certainly do a good job with making guests feel like they're on an adventure with Mickey and Minnie. These animatronics are similar to those found on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, where there isn't much movement, but all the magic is in the projected faces, and with this newer animation style, I was very worried that the animatronics would look very wonky and distorted, but at any angle, these animatronics look really good and can truly be seen from any angle. Also, the Daisy animatronic was the most animatronic character, so to speak, out of all the others. She had a full body and her arms moved and her overall look was really good, so no real complaints there. Next up on my list of positives for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is the family-friendly movement of the ride vehicles. These vehicles overall do not move very fast and do not whip you around back and forth like you would expect on most dark rides that you would see in parks nowadays. The attraction is completely flat and makes for a very smooth ride that can be enjoyed by everybody. The most movement you feel is in the waltz room with Daisy, where you start doing the conga. Another huge positive I have for this attraction is that this ride can get guests in and out very quickly. That's not saying that the ride is too short, because it's honestly not. It's almost a 5-minute ride, which is pretty decent for a dark ride today. What I'm saying is that this attraction has a surprisingly high capacity and is very efficient with getting guests moving. We were there on opening day, and if you would like to see that video, I'll put a link to the top right corner for you to click on, or a link down below in the description so you can check out that crazy experience. Anyways, on opening day, we saw the standby line reach 300 minutes. The line stretched from the Chinese Theater to almost Tower of Terror on Sunset Boulevard and back. However, at 10 a.m. that morning, we were able to wait in the standby line for just over 30 minutes. And the fact that the ride was able to bring that 300-minute wait down so quickly was honestly a huge shock for me, and I was extremely impressed with the operations that day, and I commend all the opening day cast members of the attraction and crowd control for a job well done. Alright, now that I have gone through my list of positives for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, let's talk about some of my negatives for this ride. Again, I'd just like to say that these are my own personal opinions. Some of you may agree, and I'm sure the majority of you will disagree. Please feel free to leave your opinions down in the comments section below. Starting off my list of negatives for this attraction is that, because they gutted the Great Movie Ride, there isn't much interior queue space. In the Great Movie Ride queue, there was a large room that acted as a movie theater of sorts, and and I mean a lot of switchbacks that held a lot of guests. This was good for those hot summer days where I personally wouldn't mind getting stuck in that room because of the AC and the awesome classic movie clips being shown. Now that it's all been removed, there is significantly less interior queue space inside the Chinese Theater for queue, which means that some of the exterior chaos we saw on opening day will sadly become the norm for a while until the hype for this attraction dies down. Thankfully, however, I do not foresee this issue lasting all day long because the efficiency is so good that guests won't be outside for very long at all. That being said, however, I'll be very interested to see how Disney handles the exterior overflow queue in the summer season. A second negative I have about this attraction is that there doesn't seem to be much flow to the attraction. There isn't much of a transition from scene to scene, and it doesn't make too much sense. Yes, I know it's a cartoon world, and in cartoons the scenery can change very quickly, but in my opinion, going from being in a lovely green park, to a tunnel, to a desert, to a carnival, to a tornado, to a volcano is pretty confusing and just threw me off my first ride through. It doesn't really bother me, as I'm sure it won't bother many others, but it's just my own personal critique that I would have done differently if I were an Imagineer. The only transition that makes the most sense is from the underwater scene to the city, where it feels like you're traveling through the sewers in the water to end up on the street. Next up on my list of negatives is the random Daisy Duck room. This room feels incredibly out of place to me, and it really throws off the pace of the attraction in my opinion. It just felt like a last minute addition to try and increase the ride time by a minute or so. There really isn't much point to this room, and with everything in the attraction being as crazy as it was up until that point where it's just suddenly calm and then back to crazy again, it just feels really out of place to me. I honestly feel like this attraction would be better overall if they omitted that room completely and just transitioned from City Street Jackhammer to Industrial Factory. The next critique that I have for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is I feel as though Disney didn't use the trackless ride technology to its full potential. Now, I'm not saying to make the ride thrilling enough to require a height requirement, but A few examples of what I would have done differently to enhance the ride experience, for example, is in the tornado scene. I would have made the ride vehicle circle around the tornado a few times, at least. You're in and out of that room so quickly, and not having the vehicle circle the funnel like you would in a real tornado really feels like a missed opportunity to me. Another example is in the random waltz room. When I entered that room for the first time, I was instantly eager to see what surprises were in store for us, because I immediately thought of Mystic Manor in Hong Kong Disneyland, and there is a room in that attraction that transforms in front of you, and the walls collapse, and there are projections, and it's utter chaos in that room. That's what I was expecting, and I was personally very disappointed with what we got from the waltz room, with just the changing lights behind the mirror and the disco balls. If Disney wanted to add a big room like that to the attraction, then I feel like it's a huge missed opportunity to not have a crazy scene like that in a cartoon world attraction like this one. One final critique that I have for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is that it's got a lack of wow factor. With Disney boasting this attraction as having 2.5D technology, we were shown promo videos of the second to last room where the industrial factory transforms to the perfect picnic park before our very eyes. This is the only room that has this kind of transformation effect, where the transition happens before the eyes of guests, and I was honestly expecting more of those effects. There are a few instances where it does look like a cartoon character is popping off a wall in the background. That does look good, but it's only really at the beginning and the end of the attraction where you see Goofy in his train. The effect of Goofy in the train looks really good and has to be seen in person to understand what I'm saying, but the point I'm trying to make is that this advertised 2.5D attraction is lacking in the 2.5D department. So, if I had to give a final score for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at Disney's Hollywood Studios out of 10, I would personally give it a 7 out of 10. If you ask anyone who's ridden this attraction and what they thought, most of the time the one word they're going to use is cute. This attraction is indeed very cute. It's nothing spectacular, but it is a very visually pleasing attraction that can be ridden by just about everyone and should entertain everybody in the entire family. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is the kind of attraction I would get on if the wait was 45 minutes or below. Anything after that, I would honestly pass on this ride. I can honestly see myself riding this attraction every time I visit Hollywood Studios if the wait isn't crazy. It's really unfortunate that we had to lose the Great Movie Ride in order to make way for this attraction, but as I've said before, change is good. Nothing can stay the same forever, and I feel in time this attraction is going to be loved by many and become a classic Disney attraction. I can see this ride being hated by a few people, most of whom I assume were Disney purists who hate change and probably love the Great Movie Ride and still resent Mickey Mouse for being responsible for its closure. However, this attraction is here to stay, and despite giving the axe to a great predecessor, I feel this attraction is a win for Disney, and I know you and your family are going to love Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video and for your continued support and patience with me and the content on this channel. I do work 2 jobs and go to school while trying to maintain this channel, and it really means a lot when I see you guys being so patient and waiting for the next video on the channel. I honestly have some of the best subscribers in the world, and I love each and every one of you. If you enjoyed today's video, then please leave a like down below. If you're new around here and you want to see more, please consider subscribing to the channel. While you're down there, please ring that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video in the future. I sincerely hope you are all having a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, and evening, and I'll see you guys in the next video.